Inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. Thank you so much for joining us for another insightful and deeply meaningful conversation. You may ask, what is Goldilocks teaching us, and what's the conversation we're going to have today? And Goldilocks is reminding us on how to get everything about life just right. We can't show up too hard, we can't show up too soft, not too hot, not too cold. Every endeavor we undertake, every scenario we show up, how do we show up just right so that we get to live our purpose and pursue our purpose? To have this conversation with me is a member of the Goldilocks community, Priska, all the way from Cameroon. Priska, welcome back to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks.
Thank
So,
you so much for having me, Doc. I'm so excited to be here again.
my pleasure. So, I want to build on the conversations we've had in the past, right? We've talked about the work you do. You are increasing your engagement with girls and women and STEM in Cameroon. Take us back a little bit for people who are joining us for the first time to remind them why STEM education is important and what's your passion in STEM and especially STEM for girls.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Everybody will accept to me that the world is well ahead uh, from Africa for a couple of reasons. Let us look at Industrial Revolution. We realize that that was in the 18th century, but to today we're in the 21st century. Africa hasn't yet benefited that much from industrial revolution. Everything we have around is mostly imported, but this is because we does not have the machinery or maybe I don't think lack of capacity. We actually have the capacity that can do whatever the Chinese people are doing, the Europeans are doing, maybe if it's from building cars to building um, road to doing all of that, but we haven't yet benefited. We import almost everything to Cameroon, including a toothpick. And I think that with digitalization, Africans start benefiting only intellectual wise, but not product wise. Because okay, I can sit here and talk with you is because of the internet. That is a benefit to me. But how many young people or how many uh, women in Africa can actually do this? And worst case, I can afford to have a smartphone, but if I look back in the rural areas, we realize that my mother or my elder sisters that are in those regions will be unable to manipulate a cell phone like the one I'm having and I'm using right now. This is not, and again, we can only give from what we have. We cannot give what we don't have. So if we are unable to take advantage of realization, at least on the intellectual capacity, it will be difficult for us to even advise the young people around us, okay, this is what you can do to have this kind of benefit. So when I look at all these setbacks, this is one of the reasons that I think that uh, for these young girls to know that they have a cell phone in their hand and they can use it properly and not just to call or be on social media dancing. They can actually use it to do something positive that can change their lives, the lives of their family, and that of their community. So, this is one reason that is really prompting me and encouraging me to get involved in STEM education. And my focus is on the women because here, right in my eyes, when I was little young, I watched my young elder sister being sent to get married. Not one, not two. And even all the women in the neighborhood, there was the same culture and the same attitude towards all of them. This means that even though more girls is going to school today, but what is the percentage of these girls going to school? And for instance, if the girl goes to school, maybe becomes pregnant, has education stop. But that same the boy that impregnated her, if he was a student, his education will never stop. So I see that men have more advantage over women when it comes to trying to figure out themselves, understanding who they are, and trying to move forward. And another thing is when I talk about understanding themselves, I think that maybe it's across the world, I don't know, but when I focus on my local environment, I realize that we're just a bunch of confused people, not knowing what to want and copying from other people. And I think that the foundation is if I understand what my strengths are, know how to manage my emotions, know what my weaknesses are, I'll be able to know what I want to do my life with clarity and try to fit in to do those things with my own strength. I will not look at Dr. Kasha and say, okay, oh, she's doing a podcast. Let me do a podcast as well. Because I know that is not where my strength is. I want to focus, okay, if I'm good in farming, how can I make it better to work that farm? What are other tools or other people that I can bring on board so that this get done? So these are some of the reasons why um, I think the foundation should be us understanding who we are, what we want to do with our life, and how that can be done. It's been quite a journey for me. It wasn't easy, but I think that once you struggle and actually find out what you want to be doing with your life, it changes everything. It gives us the
Absolutely.
courage. It gives us the
Absolutely.
courage and the confidence we need to make another step, to knock on the doors that we want to knock on, to
Mhm.
have those conversations. It gives us the confidence and the courage to accept a no and okay, I'm going to knock on the next door because I know what I want. But if we don't know what we want, without the clarity, when they shut one door, it is easy for us to shut down. So that is why I
Absolutely.
love,
And so
that is why,
two things come up for me as you're talking, Priska, and I want to touch on both of
all
them
right,
separately. So the two things I
okay,
want to touch on is you're talking about during the colonial period and post-colonial period, the infrastructure was not built for Africa, but all the African minerals
yeah,
and the resources were extracted, right? So there's a lot of catching up to,
yeah,
not because Africa is not resource rich or Africa doesn't have the capacity, but there was never the setup to make it happen, right? Politically and otherwise. And so I want to talk about,
yeah, sure,
but
sure,
first I want to talk about the other thing you mentioned. Girls get pregnant very soon,
okay,
therefore their life is cut short in terms of their goals, their education, their career. If we don't address
mm-hmm.
that, we don't break the cycle. So the
Yeah, sure,
question I want us to do a little bit of deep dive is what can we as a community of women do to help young ladies realize that sexuality is one thing, but their life is larger than their sexuality? And how do they plan
sure.
it? How do they understand it? And how do they understand that while boys and girls do this together, the burden is for the girl?
Yes. I think that the bulk of this is, I know I was talking about understanding who we are to gain the clarity of what we want to do with our lives. I think that this is a fundamental aspect because if they understand that their life is better than maybe even going to school and just having a degree, or if I become pregnant, this is it for me. One, they're going to be conscious that okay, I am moving towards this path. These are the challenges that I might face along the way, and this is how I can target it. And talking about sexuality, I think that this is a conversation that is hardly talked about, especially as a young girl. So if we can open up to start having more of these conversations with these girls, I think that it's going to help. And we need to equally talking about even the girls, even those that maybe already found themselves in the mess. It's okay for them to bounce back. No, nobody is judging you. You still have a better life that you can live out of your situation. But if we leave these girls to themselves, they're going to have the second child, the third child, the fourth child, and their lives are all grounded, are in the same position. They can't make a step. Children, they'll find it difficult to get medication for when they're sick. Children are going to struggle maybe all their lives to send them to school, and they might not even see school as something necessary. Talking about school, not seeing it as something necessary is because we've seen even PhD holders back home go on strike that they need jobs. But these are people that we are expecting that should be creating jobs. So if they're going striking that they need jobs, then so the school I'm even going to, how is it going to help me? Of course, we're trying to change the narratives, and we're saying vocational training is going to be way much better than just going to have some degree in chemistry and physics and history, and you think that you have anything you can do with that. You don't have any experience. And right now, even if you spend 10 years in school, you come out, that is not what the employers are looking for. They're looking for people that can deliver, people that can increase their return on investment, people that can make better use of their resources. And we can only make better use of these resources, or one, when we can actually collaborate and work with each other as a team. You know, we are having a lot of challenges for the past 3 months. I've been asking a few people, what are the challenges you're facing as a CEO, as a founder? And one of the major challenges has been human resource management. Okay, but at the end of the day, everybody think that the client is the king. So that is already a wrong conception that everybody has. You want to treat the clients better. You don't want to treat the employers well and the employees well. And most of them, one, first confused, they don't know what they want to do. Okay, maybe they just had an opportunity to come and be a receptionist. She thinks that, okay, I'm a receptionist and that is it for me. You know, she comes, she's not even fit to be a receptionist just because she's gotten the favor to get a job at that point in time. She's like, okay, it's any year, let me struggle to get my daily bread from here. So there are a lot of challenges, and again, I think that the foundation, uh, the whole world have focused more on the roof, and we have forgotten the foundation. Until we look at how these foundations are laid to see what we can make it solid, to see what we can make it strong, we'll keep on going round and round on the same spot. Generations will come and go in the same light. And we're talking about the colonial effect. Of course, when we came and we watched, I can imagine my great grandmother or my great great grandmother watch her husband be taken away in front of her. It ruined her, it traumatized her, and assuming that she had kids, it becomes so difficult for her, and she might pour all her frustration and her anger on those children. When they grow up, all they know is frustration and anger, and the cycle will continue. So there's also a lot of foundational healing that each and everyone needs to do to heal, and that can only come when we're trying to understand who we are, what we want to do with our life, to gain that clarity, to build, knowing that your happiness should be authentic, not on the dresses you wear, not on the shoes you can afford, and not in the expensive vacations you can go to. So I think those are some of the things that are really pushing me to want to focus on the youth and in general. Though right now I'm working with a group of women, and of course, even working with them is quite challenging. I think that most people, once they have this degree, they feel that school has ended there. Lifelong learning is so difficult for them to do. So I have to keep saying, no, I can do this. It's possible you can do this. No, and it's quite challenging. So it's sorry, my environment is dark. We've been having a lot of rains. I don't have light. So it's kind of really crazy. It's not easy. Though we want to do this, something like without a passion and a zeal to keep pushing, we're gonna
Yeah,
give up because
I
they
hear
are
you.
not cooperating. Yes, they're not cooperating, and I'm like, I mean, sometimes you feel that what is going to be good for them, they're not even aware, so they cannot put in enough effort that you want them to put in to get the knowledge that is being passed through. So, but
So
slowly
that's
but
why,
surely.
yeah. And so, Priska, you and I have been talking about creating a sister program with the girls in Belize so that they see how each other is doing, because girls get influenced by watching other girls do things, right? So if we can get girls from Sri Lanka, girls from Belize, and maybe even girls from the US and pair them up with girls from Cameroon, now they're going to see, everybody's going to see how the others are doing and then try to learn something from each other, because they learn better from each other than us adults.
Sure.
What do you think of a partner program that we can do to bring girls from different places together so that different cultures and how different cultures live can help the girls look at life a little differently?
Yeah, this is quite an amazing idea. And what you're saying, if you can actually put these girls in one place for 1 week or 2 weeks, they're sharing ideas, it's going to give them a lot of motivation to want to do more. And of course, it's true that I believe that right now we have the media which is influencing, but the influence is instead more of a negative than a positive, because a negative will go viral and get even maybe to my grandmother who is in the village, but one positive thing to get it through to the next person is so hard. So we need that positivity. We need to keep pushing the positive narrative to see how we can change these girls. Of course, they are the leaders of tomorrow, and without the right mindset, without the right skills, without the right knowledge, nothing is going to be done. Now we are complaining that things are difficult. It will be worse if nothing is done. So
I hear you. So before I open this up for conversation with our live audience, Priska, if you were to give a word of advice for young women all over the world as to why STEM education and focusing on their future is important, take a minute and give them that advice, and I will make sure they find you on LinkedIn.
all right, thank you very much. Okay, so all the young girls across the globe, what I want to let them know is that I just love them so much just because they're girls, and I know that they have so much potential in them and they can do a lot than they think. And that they have a lot of people that are willing to help them. And sometimes, if you don't show up, if you cannot be helped, even if the assistance is there. And I want to encourage all the girls to STEM education is the way forward. All education is good, but we need to focus on what is, even you're not going to do it because it's a passion, you need to do it because that is the way forward. It's not just longer just about passion and trying to do what you want to do, but it's about how is this going to impact, how is this going to be positive, and how is this going to make me have a comfortable, sustainable life. Okay. Let us assume you want to do history. After the history degree, what next? But you maybe leaves from high school and go to a mechanical workshop to learn how to just repair cars, and somebody will spend another 5 years in the university. You cannot compare that after 5 years, to have more of hands-on experience, new inventions coming up. Today, I was on LinkedIn, I saw some Chinese company cooking a phone and they removed it and used. Those are the things that people want to be focusing on. Those are the things that people want to be getting. They're looking at how sustainable, how can I get this phone now, not get back the next minute. All that is in technology and science. And that is what I want every young girl. The robotics, okay, we're looking at a few years ago, a lot of people lost, millions of people across the world lost jobs when AI came up. You want to be at the people making those decisions, even if the work is being done by AI. It gives us the opportunity to remain in the marketplace and continue to take care of ourselves and our families. So that is why STEM education is so, so important.
Thank you, Priska. We just have 3 minutes before we wrap this up. So I'm going to let Rob ask you a question, but please be mindful and respond in about a minute or two, okay? Thank you, Priska. Go ahead, Robin.
Hey, this has been a great conversation. And I'll just ask really quickly, I loved your comments about you yourself discovering your strengths, getting clarity, and then, managing your emotions, etc. So how do you, I think it's sometimes going to be hard to get clarity for a youth, what is it I want? But how do you help the girls discover their strengths, but equally importantly, if not more importantly, to develop the capacity of believing that they can use their strengths, they can affect change, that they can do positive things in their lives?
All right. Thank you so much, Robin. I'm so excited for the question. Good question. So I think that when I'm talking about the media, I think that the media has been one of the things that has helped me so much in self-discovery. In 2016, I was stumbled on a video by Les Brown, and he was saying it is possible. When I listened to that video over and over again, and I stumbled in Dr. Miles Monroe videos again, no. When I listened to them over and over, I started asking myself some questions, and I started wanting to behave in a particular way to keep away anger, to be able to see people and love them, focus on the positive things that are in them. And I think that I have achieved that because on the call, somebody said, Priska, your emotional intelligence is very high. This is somebody I have not met before. We're just on a Zoom call often, and he could say that. So that I said, okay, wow, I have achieved my goals of trying to understand who I am and trying to manage my emotions. And when I'm looking at the girls, it's quite challenging, as I earlier said, because they don't understand why I'm first of all pushing them to do a lot of things after they've had a degree, But I put on a program day by day, step by step, where you have some assignments to do. Like, okay, today we want to discover what our strengths are. And I gave a few things that I think that my strengths are to help them to understand what I meant. Because sometimes we say discover strength, but nobody gets to know what are those strengths. Nobody tells you what they are. So they will have to, okay, write a few things and share with the group what they feel their strengths are. The next day they are doing what they feel their weaknesses are. And on that weakness, I'm telling you that some that you can actually work on, and then some that you don't have to. For instance, if you don't like maybe cooking, it's okay. You can always maybe get somebody along the way that can cook for you, and you focus on the things that you can do. But if you cannot communicate properly, if that's a weakness, you have to work on it because you'll be talking to people. So in a bit, those are some of the things that I do. And we are doing this program. I know that LinkedIn is one area that they can leverage their strength on and meet people that are purpose oriented or focus oriented. So I'm taking them on LinkedIn and say, okay, this is how you're going to create your account that can attract this kind of people depending on who you are looking for. And okay, there's a girl who is into agriculture. So, okay, you're doing a great job. This is what we need. We've fed thousands and even people out of Cameroon with agriculture. They need to, don't limit yourself to your local environment. You have to connect with people that are doing agriculture across the globe to see the things they are doing and see what, connect with them, talk to them, see what you can learn from them. That can boost your productivity, that can boost your connectivity, and that can help you start thinking differently and seeing how you can market your product differently. So in a bit, these are some of the things that I am discussing with these girls to help them to go through with their lives. And
thank you. Thank you so much, Priska. Appreciate all the work you're doing. I am looking forward to co-creating with you exchange programs and peer mentoring. Absolutely looking forward to getting those things up and running in the next couple of months. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on Goldilocks to have this conversation. And Robin, always delighted to be a part of your insightful questions and taking the conversation deeper. And to our audience out there, wherever you stand, be the soul of that place and help lift up young people. STEM education is no longer something that you add on. STEM is a very integral aspect of the way we live. Just as much as language is important to communicate, STEM is necessary to actually live. And STEM, for those who don't know the acronym, it is science, technology, engineering, math. And in the United States, we include arts in it, STEMs. And what we want to do is make sure music and arts are a part of this education, because when we engage in the arts, the brain understands the science from a more emotional, experiential way, because music and arts is also backed by science. Sound itself is physics, right? So we just need to understand how this puzzle piece comes together and build a world and a future that behooves us. And so go out there and embrace them and make it matter not just for you, but for all the young people around you.